Hello. I am Boundless Divine, artist, community organizer, and spiritually based mental health advocate. And this is Divine Time Live. Alrighty, I have my glasses on today. Your girl ran out of contacts. I hope you don't mind. Ooh, 1 second. So I didn't have planned to do a live today, but it's a snow day. I don't have work. And this is something that's been on my heart to talk about. So we're just going to get into it. So I just had a birthday. I turned 26 on the 26th. And, people make aging sound really weird. And every time I have a birthday, everyone's like, oh, you're 1 year closer to 30. And I'm like, thank God. And for me, I like birthdays because I feel like every year and by every birthday, I find myself liking myself so much more. So things. Hello to whoever just joined the live. Welcome. I just find that every birthday, I find myself liking myself more than I did before. And so my biggest gift for my birthday this year was myself. And so I thought that I would share a little bit about that. So I made this live with the subject of it took me 3 years to actually have faith because that was my biggest, oh, thank you for the like. That was my biggest blessing for my birthday and for my life was the faith that I have, right? So when I was little, my mom used to call me her little prayer warrior because I would be praying every single night. Like I prayed obsessively. I think this is something that I might have talked about on the channel before. Like I would spend, over 20 minutes praying at like 12 years old. And it was because I thought that if I didn't pray that something bad would happen. Like I would list all of my family, all of my cousins by names, not because I wanted to, but because I thought like that was the only way to keep them safe. And so that wasn't faith, that was fear, right? And so in 2020, I started my intentional spiritual journey. It was when my, psychic gifts started to awaken. So I started to have visions and stuff. And I kind of went from like being atheist to thinking like, okay, I might, be down to give this whole God and divine thing a chance. And I did. And then the wind and life and my spirit guides led me to Ifa. And that's a tradition that I'm now a part of. I'm an Onifa. I'm just, getting into the tradition of Ifa. And I found that, hello to the second person on the live, what's poppin'? Yeah, welcome. So yeah, I found that even when I got into Ifa, that those same fears that I had about if I don't pray, if I don't do everything right, that something bad will happen, they continued. And then, learning about ancestors and it's weird because both before I prayed to God, but I didn't realize that God is real. But the more I get into the tradition, the more I realize that spirits are very, very real. And so it became a thing where I was like, okay, well, if I don't do everything right, then something bad will happen. Or if I don't give the right offerings at the right time, then the gods won't bless me. And so it became really anxious, right? And so I officially initiated into Ifa March 23rd. That's my Ifa birthday of 2022. And by July, I wasn't praying to anything because I was so confused. I was in Ifa and the people that I was with at the time, they're like, you can only pray to Olodumare. And I still go to Christian church. I talk about this regularly because I love the messages that come with Christianity. And so the Christians, every time in Jesus' name and the one and only true God. And so everyone was saying who I should pray to and what I should pray to, what I should do. And I got so confused that I was like, I didn't want to say the wrong thing. So I would just say, thank you. I ended all my prayers. I was like, give me clarity, help me out with this. Thank you. And that was how I ended it. And that's actually how I came to start saying in the name of love, because I'm like, at the end of the day, people were getting so mad and so they're like, you have to pray to my thing, that they didn't care that I wasn't praying to any, people would rather have you pray to or celebrate something that you don't understand or that doesn't feel right for you than actually following your own truth. And so I said love because I understand that I'm, in the tradition of Ifa, and the Olodumare is so good to me. But I know that Krishna is probably great to other people, and Allah as well. And Jesus has done amazing things for my family. And so that's why I say in the name of love, because I want us to remember that at the end of the day, we'll all get there. So anyway, long story short, so as of July, I wasn't praying to anyone. So, like I said, I initiated in March, but it wasn't until actually December of 2022. I had been in the tradition for months that I actually ended my prayers in the name of Oldumare, because I finally learned more about, Ifa, and I was like, all right, Oldumare is cool. Like, actually, we have a lot in common. We see things really similarly, and I like the way that everything's nature based, right? And so that was December. And it wasn't until January, y'all, I don't know what it is, but I feel like something really came off of me. Like, it's so hard to explain, but I've had this like chill. In the Bible, they call it Zoe. It's that peace that surpasses all understanding. And it's been like weird because they have like whole books about it, The Body That Keeps Score, and I definitely like have to read that because I'm hearing it so much. It's like coming to me all the time. But there are actual books and studies that prove that your body actually holds on to trauma. And so like when you're in a state of panic or fear or anxiety for a prolonged period of time, your body actually gets used to that. And so I'm someone who has been having tower moment after tower moment for years. And so when things started to get really chill in January and that thing came off of me, like I was skeptical at first. And so, January happened and February, and I'm finding that, things might have ups and downs, but I don't get moved. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I actually have faith. Like I've been calling myself a spiritually based mental health advocate. I actually am a spiritually based mental health advocate. Like everything that I'm doing is because I believe that spirituality has made my life better. But it wasn't until actually January. And I would say like mid-January, because that's when I understood that I actually cultivated and developed faith. And so now I'm going to talk about like, how we actually got there. And if the folks on, the live want to drop a little comment or just whatever, say things that are resonating or experience with faith, then feel free. But yeah, so I have my notebooks. So how did I develop faith? It's gratitude. And that sounds so obvious, like, oh, gratitude again, but like, hear me out, right? So when I first developed my spiritual gifts, I talk about this all the time, but it's the best example. So I really felt like Raven Simone in that. So Raven, I was having visions of things and I didn't want to see them happen sometimes, or wanted to see them happen. And so I would try to control it, and it ended up getting really crazy. And I found myself actually perpetuating the very things that I feared, or I saw the things that I didn't want to happen anyway. And no matter how much I stressed about it, it would still happen. And, I got into tarot in March, and so I would pull cards. And I remember one time, like, I had a really, like, I love someone so much. They were my closest friend. And the cards came out that that person was acting shisty and, like, that they weren't for me. And I'm like, no, you don't know. Like, I thought that I knew more than my all-seeing guides. Like, come on. Like, I really thought that I knew more than my guides who see it. Like, there are rooms that I can't be in, they hear things that I don't hear, but I thought that I knew more than them. So when my cards told me that this person was not really a friend, I was like, all right, I must not understand. So that being said, I was running around trying to make things happen that I wanted to happen based on visions that I had, and prevent things that I didn't want to happen. And at the end of the day, things always happened how they were supposed to. And the more I developed my gifts, and I have videos on decoding dreams. I have a video about decoding sex dreams that's coming out soon, so stay tuned. But the more that I learn about spirituality, about even like prophetic insights and gifts and stuff, the more I realize that like you don't always know what's going to happen. Sometimes things are symbolic, sometimes things are unexpected, but they will always get you where you have to be. And so faith, I was actually able to develop faith when I realized that I don't have to be perfect. I just have to put through honest effort. I have to put forth honest effort. I have to be humble enough to be corrected, because sometimes what I think is best for me and what Spirit knows is best for me is not the same thing. And I have to, I don't have to be perfect. I just have to be open and movable. And I want to touch my notes just so I don't miss anything. Oh yeah, so I wrote here that when I realized that I couldn't change or control anything, I realized that I always survived. So like I said, I couldn't change anything, but no matter what, I always got where I had to be. And so when I realized, another thing that I wrote is, I developed faith because I realized that nothing has ever been bad for me longer than the time that it hurt. And yo, I'm gonna say that again because I feel like when I wrote that, I was like, sheesh, I almost threw my pen, but nothing has ever been bad for me longer than the time that it hurt. And I feel like y'all should, I mean, you shouldn't do anything you don't want to, but that's something to write down because that is so important to remember. That is, after it stops hurting, it's not bad for you because everything has blessed me on the way out. It's weird because I'm a really like thinky person. Like I think a lot, you know, sometimes to my detriment. But I realize that every single person that, you know, hurt me, they always blessed me on the way out. So it's like, you know, there'd be people who were close friends and, you know, we had a falling out, but somewhere with them, I met someone who took me where I needed to be. Or like even a book I've gotten. It's just, it's so weird where the church that I go to now, like a person that I was very much in love with, like they gave me that, the information the last time we talked. Like I always get blessed on the way out. Nothing has ever been bad for me on the long term. And that's why I say gratitude, because you know, we talk a lot about karma in the spiritual community, and even hearing about that stressed me out because I'm like, it's part of why I tried to become such a perfectionist, because I was like, if I do the wrong thing, then the universe is going to punish me. But karma isn't punishment, which, you know, even though it might hurt because we want our enemies or people who wronged us to be punished, but it's not punishment, it's love. You do something that is not in a high vibration, you do something that unintentionally harms yourself or others, and the universe gives you those repercussions so that way you could know better next time. You do something positively. You serve at a event or a charity or organization. You give information to someone. You give love to someone, and then love and information and things come to you. The universe is saying, hey, as long as you're being, you know, good, as long as you're blessing others, then I will continue to bless you, right? And so there are some lessons that only heartache can teach. Like I talked a lot, y'all probably thought I was in my feelings, but I talk a lot about this whole friendship ending and everything. But it's weird because as stressful and painful and chaotic as all of those things were, the person that I am today, the boundaries that I create right now, the way that I'm able to love the people who are coming into my life, the boss that I am, like I'm really like making money as an entrepreneur, and like all these opportunities are coming to me because of confidence that I have. That confidence that I only got because I was put in many situations where that my sense of self-esteem and autonomy was tested, you know, like it's always blessed me on the way out. And I just saw Mama G. Oh, I don't know how to check the comments, I'm still new to the live thing. I always get blessed on the way out. I really like that. Thank you, Mama G. That's my bestie, y'all. Send her love in the chat. That's my mom's. Okay, yeah. So, yeah, gratitude. I kind of lost track of thought. I be getting distracted, but it always blesses you on the way out. And so that's all I have for y'all today. I'm going to do the little journaling prompts. So like I said, gratitude is what helped me to develop faith. Oh, one more thing. So my pastor, he was talking about how when the kingdom of God, when the kingdom of heaven is over you, then you realize that, you know, the doors open and the doors close are also blessings. And that was really part of what helped it to stick for me. So it's like, you know, I is single right now, but I'm flirting and, you know, people are whatever talking, but it's interesting because like now, even when part of why I've been able to become such a boss and like really take up space in different events and be leaders, because I'm like, okay, if this contract works out for me, that's God. If the contract doesn't work out for me, that's God. Like there are certain people that I would have wanted to take with me all the way to the top that I had to learn weren't actually my friends ever, like not along. So it's always a blessing. So it might really hurt, but I was able to develop faith when I realized that I'm always getting where I'm supposed to be. Like it's really, there's nothing that you can do that can, there's no mistake that you can make that will take you from where you're supposed to be. The universe will always, like I've literally had people send me one of the jobs I have right now. I got the email at 1:00 in the morning, 2 days before I had to have a whole lesson plan and everything prepared. People text me in the middle of the day. You know, when I was really lonely and sad, people would just call me out of the blue that I hadn't talked to in months. Like no matter what, the universe will always find a way to get you where you're supposed to be and when you're supposed to be there. So you don't have to be perfect. So when I realized that, I was like, okay. And so, yeah, that's the whole prompt, right? So the journaling prompt is take some time to reflect on your biggest challenges in life and take some time to reflect on your biggest accomplishments in life. So the biggest obstacles that you've had, the biggest blessings and high things, what did you learn from them? So whether you want to write that out, whether you want to tell that to the lake or the river, or your journal and meditate on, but what are the biggest challenges and the biggest victories? What did they teach you? Okay. And then the part 2 of that is to take some time to thank your Ori. So in Ifa, your Ori is like your higher self. It's the divine copy that you got in Orun and the heaven, the spiritual realm. So take some time to thank your higher self and also your loving, benevolent guides for always getting you where you need to be. So again, the second prompt is take some time to thank your Ori and your loving, benevolent guides for always taking you where you need to be, okay? And so, again, I'm going to keep saying it, but it's gratitude, because when you realize that you always ended up where you're supposed to be, when you realize that things always found a way to you, that you always survived, and not only survived, you learned and you grew, then it's really easy to have faith. So I hope that y'all really resonated with this message. Please let me know what you think in the comments. If you came on towards the end, then you might want to watch from the beginning. We're at 4 people on the live, which is the most we've gotten so far. And, it'll only be going up from here. So I want to end with some affirmations, right? So we're borrowing from 2 cultures today, from Maya Angelou's Still I Rise poem, and then this Haitian phrase that I cannot say in Creole, right? So the affirmation is, still like air I rise, because wherever there's life, there's hope. Still like air I rise, because wherever there's life, there's hope. Oh, thank you, Mama G. Still like air I rise, because wherever there's life, there's hope. So as long as there's air in your lungs, as long as you're able to breathe, you're able to keep going. So never give up. As long as you're here, then you're here. And that's a huge reason to have faith. All right. So yeah, if you want to send me a little love donation, you know the drill. Boundless Divine, Cashapp. I had a birthday. But yeah, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate y'all. Remember that you are good and you are worthy and you are loved. Never forget who you are, because this world needs your light. Be kind with yourself, because practice makes progress and all things come in divine time. And as you leave this space, may you go in peace, in love, in pleasure, purpose, and prosperity. May you have that peace that surpasses all understanding. And may you have enough gratitude for yourself, for your victories, for your losses that were lessons, that you just always believe in yourself. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. I'm so proud of you. Give yourself a little pat on the back. All right, in the name of Oldumare Ashe. Peace, friends. Thanks for coming.